Also YouTube, Dave here from Zephyr Wargames, and we're here with Joe. And what deck are you bringing us today, Joe?
Ancient Gears.
Ancient Gears, and this is with the new structure deck support. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Joe crack on with it.
Right, so to start off with the boss monsters, we have the Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon and one copy of Ancient Gear Golem. Reactor Dragon is the new card from the structure deck where it gains effects depending on what you use to tribute, which involve piercing if it's an Ancient Gear, or attacking twice if it's a gadget. Level 9, very easy to get off though, including with the use of Gear Town. An Ancient Gear Golem is mostly in here for a certain fusion monster in the extra deck, but it's a pretty good 3k piercing monster. Next, for the Stratos of the deck is Ancient Gear Wyvern. When it's normal special summon, you can search any Ancient Gear card, but you can't set the turn after you activate the effect. Set your cards first, special summon this guy, or normal summon it, get your search and go off either that turn, or get yourself set up for next turn. Next, you have 3 copies of Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. Hunting Hound is your fusion summoner monster, where you can, when on normal summon, it burns your opponent for 6k. Mandatory effect, I think you have to activate that, which is fine. And the fusion summons, you can use Ancient Gear monsters on the field and hand and summon a fusion monster. So it doesn't have to be itself, so you can fuse with other stuff, including the Ancient Gear token, as I have over here, and keep him out so you can then fusion summon on your next turn if he survives. Next, there's a little search in the deck is Ancient Gearbox. When it's added to the hand by any means from anywhere, you search any machine type monster with 500 attack or defense from your deck. So, and it's an earth machine as well. So good searches in this deck, good targets, including the new card, which is Ancient Gear Gadget. You can declare any gadget name, and it can become that name. Also, when it's normal or special summon, you can declare machine, monster, spell or trap, and lock your opponent from using one of those declared cards during the battle phase. So it's a really nice card, and 500 attack is searchable by box. And also to point out, most of these machines are level 4, so you can go into some nice rank 4 plays in the extra deck. So those are the Ancient Gears, and then we have, to round up the monsters, 2 silver and 2 gold gadgets. Just for the rank 4 plays, getting monsters out on the board as well, like Wyvern, to get your search, and you can overlay and do some nice combos. But these are in here for that, and the 1 lone Max C, which does come in the structure deck, so that's something to point out. So a lot of these cards are new, being the Gadget, Wyvern, and Reactor Dragon. So all those come in the structure deck, so you can grab those and buff up any of your old Ancient Gear decks that you probably have lying around. We move on to spells. The best field spell in the deck, Gear Town. You can summon Ancient Gears. Both players can summon Ancient Gears tribute summon with 1 less tribute. So that combos well with your Gadget and your Reactor Dragon to give Reactor Dragon both effects. But also, when it's destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon any Ancient Gear from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it combos well with the next card we have, which is 3 copies of Ancient Gear Catapult. If you control no monsters, you can pop 1 face-up card on your field and special summon from your deck 1 Ancient Gear, ignoring its summoning conditions. The reason it's got that line of text is that ultimate Ancient Gear Golem cannot be special summoned. So that's that. And then if it's in the graveyard, including the turn it's sent there, you can banish it, pop 1 face-up card on your field, special summon the Ancient Gear token, and that way you can then set off some of your cards like the Fort, Gear Town, or next card, Ancient Gear Fortress. So while this card is in play, during the turn that they are normal or special summoned, Ancient Gears cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So complete immunity for your monsters. But also, if it's destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon Ancient Gear from your hand. So combo, you can see the combo there with Catapult. play this, activate Catapult, pop this, get 2 special summons, and you can go from there. To search our field spells, we have free terraforming, deck fins our deck, and just gets to our pieces, as well as Foolish Burial of Goods. This is a card I've recently put in here, where the main thing is to just send Catapult as a way to just banish Catapult and pop your field spell or your continuous spell and just get your plays going. And that's just mainly what you want in this deck. Get your special summons off and get your searches going and just go and get your boards up. As well as 2 Twisters, can discard some cards as well as just get rid of pesky back row that you just don't want to deal with. 1 YUGIOH just to clear those boards. Fusion Recycling Plant as well as Polymerization. They go in hand in hand. These are cards I just recently put in. Polymerization is not needed, but it's just a nice way to get another use of Fusion Recycling Plant. Just search it. And if you don't have Hunting Hound, you got Poly. But Fusion Recycling Plant is actually pretty good in this deck, just because if you fusion summon using Hunting Hound, you get the add back of Recycling Plant, which then, if you fuse with Box, get Box back, and since it was added to your hand by card effect, you can then search Ancient Gear Gadget. So you've got some nice combos there with Recycling Plant, as well as being searchable. And this card is actually not too bad. You can get some nice cards into the graveyard, like your Catapult. So there's a lot of spells, and there's only 3 traps in the deck, which is 1 Ancient Gear Reborn, Continuous Call the Haunted. If you control no other monsters, you can target an Ancient Gear in your grave, special summon it, and if you do, it gains 200 attack. Even this card leaves the field. So it's kind of like a better Call the Haunted, but it's just a nice way to just have something on board. Just constantly revive things and just get some of your plays. So you can get back Wyvern, becomes a 1900 level 4, and you just get your search. And then for the other 2 traps, I play 2 Solemn Scolding, just because I feel like in the deck, if you don't have that many back row, Scolding is probably like your best card. If you're not setting a lot, which Ancient Gears you don't, so you can then just have a Scolding set, then flip it, pay 3k, but you can negate pretty much anything in the game. So that's my traps, and that's the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. 3 Ancient Gear Howitzer. The thing with Ancient Gear is that extra deck is so open. You can just have basically anything you want. But the cards I'm going to show you are pretty much the cards that I advise you should aim to get, excluding probably 1 card in the extra deck, which is just an option. But Howitzer, it just requires 2 Ancient Gears, and it's unaffected by any card effects in the game. And once per turn, you can, during your main phase, you can inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for free, which is really nice. And if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard or by card effect, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. So again, another way to get out Golem, but a nice 1800 defense that just burns your opponent for free, and if they do decide to destroy it, you get something from your deck for free. So you can either get Golem to just get him out the deck onto the board and have a 3k defense, or you can get out Wyvern, get a search, and just go off. So Howitzer is great. And then we have 3 Chaos Giant. The Howitzer, you should be playing at 3 Chaos Giant. You can play at 2. I just chucked 3 in there just because, again, the extra is very free and very open. So I just put Chaos Giant in here. He requires 4 Ancient Gear monsters, which sounds a bit too much, but is actually not. Especially since things like Gear Token counts as a target. He's unaffected by spell traps. And also, if he can attack all special summon monsters, and he does piercing. So, what more could you want there? And it's a 4/5 beat stick. So, it's amazing. In combination with the Fortress, you can just make absolute immunity and just basically push for game. This is the one you don't actually have to play, but I've got 2 Ancient Gear Ultimate Golem. He does 4k. He's a 4/4 beat stick that does piercing. And he just requires Ancient Gear Golem and 2 Ancient Gear monsters. And if it also attacks, your opponent cannot activate spells or traps until the end of the damage step. So, and also if he's destroyed, you can special summon 1 ancient gear golem from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning condition. So even if they remove this card, you get something back in return. It's an amazing card. He is probably the most expensive card in this extra deck, and but again, you don't have to play it. It's the only reason why I'm even playing Golem. So if you don't play Golem, you don't play this basically. And I put Fortress Dragon here because I do side in 3 Cyber Dragons, or I will be siding in 3 Cyber Dragons. So if I'm up against the Mirror or any other machine-based decks, I have the Fortress in here. And then the XCs, 59 Cook. This is probably along with the other XCs that I'll be showing off. You have to play, or not have to play, but I highly advise you play. 2 level 4s. While you control no other cards on the field, this card is unaffected by other card effects. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach an XC material from this card, destroy as many other cards you control as possible, and it gains 300 attack to the end of the turn for each monster destroyed by this effect. So you're not going with this for the attack buff, you're going with this for the destruction of your spells, which then gets you more special summons, more pluses, more searching, and just absolute madness. And in combination, you can then side in some other decks cards, which I'll be testing as I go. And then for the others, I play 2 Heavy Arm Train Iron Wolf and 1 Gigan X. The reason I've gone for 2 of this is because I don't have a second copy of this. But they basically do the same thing, but some extra additions. So Gigan X just requires 2 machines. You can detach and search any machine from your deck. That's level 4 lower, so just more deck thinning. Iron Wolf has that effect. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add 1 level 4 machine from your deck to your hand. But it also has the other effect where you can detach material from this card, target 1 machine you control. This turn, it can attack your opponent directly. So you can target things like your Chaos Giant or your Ultimate Golem, and or even your Reactor Dragon if you really want to, and just go for some massive damage. So that's the reason I got Iron Wolf, and they both require level 4 machines, so which is not too hard in this deck, especially with the gold and silver gadgets, so you might as well abuse it as you can. But as you can see, this was not a 15 card extra deck, so you can just slap in some other things like I'll be putting in a Dark Rebellion, so I can do some nice combos with Chaos Giant, and you can then put in the Utopia package, even some a rank 9. I know there's one where you get some effects and that, so I think it's a Trish, but you only get one of the effects. I can't remember what it is, but as you can see, there's so many things. So, but that's the deck profile, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I've been really excited for this deck, and I think it's a good anti-meta deck call, to be honest. Especially if, as time goes, if Paleo is still a big thing, this deck just destroys Paleo, in my opinion, just because they can't react during the battle phase. If you have the continuous spell out, they can't react to your summons, so, and you don't really play traps, so they can't chain to any of your traps because you don't play any. So that's just my personal opinion. So I'm going to be playtesting this a lot as the format goes. But yeah.
So that is it for one of the decks. Like Joe said, I personally feel that everyone's going to be hyping around the dinos that this might go unchecked, and it's just got natural outs to stuff like Crystal Wing and issue boards. So it's definitely a fun deck, definitely an easy deck to pick up, and it's all accessible. Yes, dinos may have the edge over it, but if everyone's focusing on that, I reckon this one can creep under, like Joe was saying. So
I just wanted to quickly mention the only thing you'll be having to pick up outside the extra deck is Hunting Hound and the fusions. So just thought I'd mention that.
What you mean outside?
Outside the structure deck. So
yeah, and
you
the
get the
gold and silver gadgets.
Oh yeah,
if you play that build, or play that version. But everything else is accessible to you. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys. As always, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.